Seabird by Holling Clancy Holling, a Newbery Honor book. Chapter 1. The Ivory Gull. Summer had come to the rocky coast of Greenland. The air throbbed with the clamor of seabirds calling. Glad cries tumbled down the sky like tinkling bells. They echoed until bald sea cliffs rang with chimes. Bird screams swelled into blasts of trumpets above the beating surf. Through all this happy tumult, a snow-white bird flew silently. Smaller than other seagulls, it had a yellowish beak, but its feet were black. Its body and outstretched wings had no dark markings. The ivory gull looked like its name, a piece of carved ivory soaring in magic flight. The flying gull crossed frozen rivers of glaciers. Gigantic icicles laid along the valleys. Moving inch by inch into the sea, they ended in ice walls towering up from the water. The land between these glaciers was wrinkled with hills. Long slopes shimmered with bright green, grassy fur. Hidden in grass, a hare nibbled tops of dwarf trees stunted by Arctic cold. Through forests of flowers, a white fox stalked the hare, but the ivory gull soared on. 2 mounds of snow by a brook turned into a polar bear and her cub catching trout with their paws. A greedy raven hovered nearby in fitful circles. The black bird croaked at the white bird, but the gull soared over and on without a sound. Clouds of Arctic terns swirled along the cliffs. Like large white swallows, they danced in the crisp, clear air. They seemed to call to the lonely gull to join their play. But through all their swoops, the gull held its level flight. It crossed an inlet walled by a sparkling glacier. An ice chunk big as a hill split off from the walls and dropped into the sea. It sank and heaved upward again, a white mountain gushing foam. Thunders of its falling rolled for miles. Mad waves lashed the cliffs, rushed to the sea tossing ice cakes, and lost themselves in the gray veil of a summer snowstorm. Yet even this birth of a floating iceberg had not caused the ivory gull to change its course. Somewhere northward, its mate was waiting. It soared on and vanished in the falling snow. Chapter 2. The Vision in the Snow. The summer snowstorm not only blotted out the coast, it shut out sun, land, and sea. Caught in a tidal current, a whaling ship ran in this white haze, like a blind thing being pushed. The keen-eyed lad, high in the crow's nest, was a worried lookout. Here he was, 14, a year out of New Bedford. For this whaling voyage he had signed on as the ship's boy, and now they trusted his searching eyes at the masthead. But how could anyone be expected to see dangerous rocks through this snow? He stamped his cold feet in the flimsy canvas barrel. Below him, the mast melted into white nothing. Spars with furled sails made scarecrow arms. His lookout barrel seemed to float upward in a falling sky. To Ezra Brown, the world was all unreal. A shadow passed him, gone before he really saw it. It came again and was gone. Then it hovered beyond an arm's reach. A white bird soared motionless in the falling snow, looking at him. It gave no cry. It too was unreal to Ezra, as though the silent flakes had formed a snowy vision. The boy gazed without blinking. He had never seen anything so coldly beautiful, so much a part of snow and fog and the mystery of air. Without warning, the bird wheeled, swept forward, and shot straight up. It's gone, thought Ezra. Why did it go so fast? As in a dream, he remembered a playful swallow back home in Maine. It liked to fly toward a steep barn wall, then swoop upward, missing a crash by inches. And now this seabird, this ivory gull out of the Arctic, did the same thing. 1 minute it hung in the snow, and the next it swung out and up like climbing a cliff. The memory snapped Ezra out of his trance as though struck by a harpoon. Even before he felt the blast of colder air on his face, he knew. He found his voice and bellowed into the white haze. "Iceberg! Iceberg! Dead ahead!" Chapter 3. Smart Traders. A head-on collision with an iceberg has sunk many a vessel. But at Ezra's wild yells, the ship swerved away in time. It scraped the ice with a shudder that nearly shook the boy from his nest. Then the whaler went on, unharmed. The snowstorms passed swiftly. It seemed to Ezra that the ivory gull had swept it away, as though this snow sprite, wrapped in a mystic veil, had vanished with it across the ice-flecked sea. When he climbed down to the deck, his tale of a bird that saved the ship was twisted into different meanings by the crew. One, for instance, was afraid. "Ez," he groaned, "'twas a pale white ghost you saw, some lost, frozen whaleman's soul, come out of the north a-flappin' to haunt the ship." "He's sea crazy," laughed a harpooner. "'Twas a good spirit, Ez, if spirit it was. 'Twill bring us plenty whale oil this cruise." Ezra knew that his Seabird was neither a ghost nor a bad omen. He had seen many ivory gulls in Arctic waters, yet this one, flying off so oddly, had called his attention to the floating island of ice. The Seabird might have remained with Ezra as only a memory, hovering in a halo of shining light. But one day, while they were passing a rocky headland, an Eskimo sealskin kayak put out and raced to the ship with double paddle flashing. This chuckling Eskimo knew how to trade with whalemen. Yes, indeed. He clambered up to the deck, hoisting a bale of furs behind him. Oh, what a smart trader he was. He grinned just right, he frowned just right, and paddled away with a fortune. For a mere kayak load of fox and polar bear skins, the childish whaleman had given genuine cotton cloth, a roll of it, and 10 real iron fishhooks, and solid glass beads, too hard to dent with your teeth, yet with holes clear through them. But most priceless bargain of all, for 2 walrus tusks, a boy had given him a little pump drill of iron. With this magic thing, you could make holes in wood, or bone, or ivory, rows and rows of holes. As for Ezra, those tusks and the ivory gull shaped his life. Chapter 4. The Ivory Bird Soars. Ezra was a master at scrimshaw work, the carving of bone and teeth. His shipmates had long since guessed why he wanted the 2 walrus tusks. As he studied their curves, one heard him say to himself, "I'll need other things out of the sea besides this ivory. Some red coral, maybe, and something yellow-colored, and a black." After that, the whalemen opened their sea chests, giving Ezra his pick of shells, stones, and souvenirs from all over the world. And the word went around, "He's making a good luck model of the Seabird that saved the ship." On watch at the swaying masthead, Ezra planned his carving. In the evenings, he sat on his bunk under a whale oil lamp with his chest for a workbench. He sawed and rasped to the wind song and a drumming of waves. In making the Seabird, Ezra joined both tusks together, forming a cross. Where they joined, he gouged out enough ivory to leave the bird hollow and light. One tusk made the body, the head, and the fan-like tail. An amber beak was locked in place by a coral plug, the coral ends gleaming as eyes. A wedge of black slate made the folded feet. The other tusk's curve helped shape the soaring wings. Seabird's body was set on a limber stalk of whalebone. With the stalk's loose end in a belt loop, Seabird nodded over his arm when Ezra walked. Spread out flat on his chest under his jacket, it left both hands free for climbing. A hole in a timber or a lashing around a post made a base for the stalk. Then Seabird could follow the ship's roll, tilt to the side, and soar. The small model and all its parts had come from the world's oceans, making an image of the gull as Ezra had seen it. But the odd thing was this. The ivory gull of flesh and feathers had seemed fashioned from falling snow, while the seabird carved from ivory seemed always alive.